Happy Friday, everybody. The 6th day of April, 2018. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley is on the air, live here from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee. How are you, Steve?
Doing great. Looks like my gray hair is blending in with the background. Huh?
Oh yeah, the weather window outside Steve's, behind Steve is indicative of what's going on right now. It's going to be a cloudy, kind of a rainy,
stormy Friday.
Yeah, a lot of rain coming tomorrow, which is kind of sad because we have about 1,600 baseball players in town for a huge tournament.
Ooh.
Maybe they'll get all the games in. In any event, it's Friday. We feel good. If you stand on your tiptoes, you can see the weekend from here. Fridays always guarantee a 5-star show or double your television viewing back. You've got a lot of news to get to. Arch Ecker is standing by in the green room. Of course, the Wenatchee Wild can wrap up the Interior Division Finals with a victory tonight over Trail. That would bump them in to the championship round. We're expecting an electric atmosphere tonight at the Town Toyota Center. Arch Ecker will preview tonight's game, and we'll show some highlights of the incredible victory when they went up 3-0 up in Trail a few days ago. Some incredible goalkeeping there. I know you have a big plan this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called the Masters.
You're going to watch the Masters?
You bet I will.
You must. You
enjoyed yesterday's first round?
I didn't. It's as we mentioned this with Steve and I were talking off the air. I kind of forgot about it. I got into some projects when I got home, and my brain was in a different mode of thinking and things, and I kind of sort of forgot about it. And then my phone started going
burp, burp.
Beam, 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 and it was Sergio Garcia keeps hitting the golf ball into the water on 15.
Did his impression of
Tin Cup there, yeah. Kevin Costner, in it goes anyway. So
that's funny.
I'll make time for the Masters, and of course I'm playing golf on Sunday morning before the Masters.
Good luck.
So I'm looking forward to that. This is fascinating the heck out of me. I might do this. This is the open house at the college.
Really? And we're going to find out more about that today, too.
Yeah, in the news. There's one thing that caught my eye. I was going through the program. That's a nice program. They're going to open up a time capsule. They buried a time capsule 25 years ago, and they're going to take it out and see what they put in it. That'll be cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll find my sock.
Your weather forecast, your past report. We got sports. We got baseball tonight. Don't forget about that. Moses Lake and Eastmont will have that game later on today. Today in history, birthdays, the obscure holiday. Everyone is entitled to Mike Mignotti's opinion, and all the usual shenanigans apply. You ready to go see what Mother Nature has for us right now?
I think the view will be pretty much the same today, won't it?
That's it. I don't believe that is not the cross cam, is it not? Yeah, it's what we call the Wenatchee Heights East camera, so that's not the cross camera. It is this camera itself, Steve, is about 200 yards to the east of the cross camera, and it's also slightly lower in elevation.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a beautiful view of Hoquiam on this Friday morning. Camera number 2, what are we looking at?
Grays Harbor.
Yeah, Grays Harbor, there you go. Downtown Wenatchee, how are you? I'll ask the question again. The big grain silo that stands there on the avenue, if it's still being used or not, I'm kind of curious about that.
I think they turned it into a still, didn't they?
That would be cool. You'll notice how bright yellow the sidewalks are and the bumpers there. They've been painting those in the overnight hours. So the sidewalks are being repainted, the streets and all that stuff, all being repainted, getting all spruced up for spring and the Apple Blossom Festival. This is the time of the year that they do that, so everybody can put on their best face.
I don't know what we got going down the street right now.
Is that an ambulance?
Looks like it.
It's hard to tell from here. Camera 3 will take us to, that's Tumwater. Beautiful.
Looking down on the hamlet of Leavenworth.
Beautiful Leavenworth. You know, this whole German Bavarian theme town thing is working out pretty good for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the smarter moves that they made. Good morning, Leavenworth. Good to see you here. Finally, camera 4 takes us to, what the heck is that? Help me out, Kat.
I have no clue where we are here.
Oh, that's Billy Goat. Wow, okay.
Wow.
That's, yeah. Okay, that's Billy Goat turned completely around, Steve.
Okay.
So and look at all the snow that they still have up at that elevation. And again, the camera itself is about 6,800 feet above sea level. So what you see down there is probably another 400 or 500 feet below that. So there's a lot of snow
above
there.
The clouds there, aren't we?
Yeah. So good morning, Billy Goat. We are the number 7 rated show in the greater Billy Goat area. All of these cameras, of course, courtesy of Locatel Sky-Fi, high-speed, wireless internet, which means you don't have to have fiber to your house. You can live out in the middle of nowhere. You can live on Billy Goat Mountain and get high-speed internet. no fiber. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Call
Cool.
888-8888 for more details. From the National Weather Service, here comes the rain. There is your forecast for today. Not much rain today, just intermittent showers, kind of like what we had yesterday. It rained a little bit and it would stop. You know, nothing, no big deluge, no big, huge dumping of rain today, nor most of the evening tonight. But, well, you see that one big raindrop on Saturday? It's going to come down hard Saturday morning. In fact, we have a graphic to give you a general timeline. The top thing is your temperature. The middle thing that you see is the chance of rain, and the bottom thing is how much rain is going to come down. So you see that one thing right in the middle of your screen. So we're looking about 2 a.m. to around 8 a.m.
It looks like my EKG a little bit.
So as you can see there, the heaviest rain is going to be overnight tonight, starting about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, going through to about 8:30 or so Saturday morning. It's going to come down in buckets. Gradually it tapers off. Will be fairly dry on Saturday afternoon, but the rain totals between today, tonight, Saturday, and whatever rain we get Saturday night is going to be over an inch of rain, maybe an inch and a half. That's a lot of rain for us.
That is a lot of rain.
A lot of rain. So again, most of the rain on Saturday is going to be before noon, then it dries out a little bit. The winds will be picking up on Saturday night, as you can see there, Steve. Sunday.
Look at those temperatures.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday. It looks good,
Mid-60s.
above normal, but we got to get there first. Sunday, by the way, partly sunny, breezy, high there of 62. Winds could gust as high as 30 miles an hour, by the way, in the afternoon. It'll be fairly calm Sunday morning, and then it picks up in intensity as the storm system exits. And then kind of a mixed bag on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's still considered, it's just unsettled is the best way to put it. And this is what we get this time of the year. You can have 4 different weather phenomenons happen in a single day. You know, you could have sun, you could have rain, you could have wind, you could have everything.
I was at Stemilt's Facebook page, and they had a picture of the cherry bloom.
Oh,
It started.
really?
The cherry bloom has started.
Already? Wow. That's cool. Another sign of spring. To the mountain passes we go. Let's take you up to the Cascades. I-90. No problems at all. No advisories, no restrictions. I'm going to do a forecast that you're not going to believe here in just a couple of minutes. Stevens is fine. This is a live shot of Stevens we're going to bring up here. Just some patchy fog, no advisories, no restrictions. And Blewett is fine as well. Again, no advisories or restrictions on any of the major mountain passes. Check this out. Nothing really today. Going to be quiet in the mountain passes. Starting tonight and going all the way through Sunday night, it's going to rain cats and dogs on I-90, and it's going to snow on Stevens Pass, heavy snow. The snow level is going to dip down to about 4,200 feet, Steve, which is
Summit
just
level.
above the summit of Stevens. So on I-90, heavy rain all weekend long, especially, as you might imagine, Friday night and Saturday. That same system that's going to give us rain is going to give them rain. Mountain passes, check this out. Stevens Pass specifically, nothing's going to happen until Saturday night. Then they're going to get 4 to 8 inches of snow on Saturday night on Stevens Pass. An additional 7 to 11 inches of snow on Sunday, and then another couple of inches of snow on Sunday night.
I think I see avalanche control in the future.
Yeah. So your best bet is absolutely, if you're driving over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house, you want to take Blewett and then I-90. They're going to be dealing with some serious rain, but Stevens Pass could get very nasty Saturday night and all day Sunday. They're going to get quite a
Watch
bit of
out for
snow.
those small streams too, because we could see some flooding with the heavy rain as well.
It is 9 minutes after the hour. Thank you, Steve. I love you. You know that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What?
If loving you is wrong,
You don't
I
want to
don't
be right.
right.
Can I go home now? It's 9 minutes. It's 9 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. When we come back, what you need to know to start out your Friday, what you need to know to start out your weekend with Steve Harrod, News Director. He's next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Having a relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
High school sports is back this spring on the NCW Life channel. Do you like baseball? We've got you covered with the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats. How about softball? We have you covered there too with fast pitch action right here. How about lacrosse? Yep, got you covered there too with the Wenatchee Valley Thunder. And of course, there's boys soccer. Whatever your interest, we've got you covered on your home for high school spring sports, the NCW Life Channel.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Welcome back to this Friday morning edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Steve Hare with you, and here's what's happening around north central Washington on this rainy morning. It's going on 2 years since the disappearance of Jessie Rubio of Wenatchee. Police say they're no closer now to finding her than they were when she went missing. The 23-year-old woman was last sighted in the area of South Wenatchee Avenue and Ferry Street back on January 23rd of 2016. Captain Edgar Reinfeld with the Wenatchee Police Department commented on that case. He also provides an update on an older missing person case that also remains unsolved.
It's one of these cases that has effectively gone cold at this point because we've stopped receiving new tips and new information. And we have received many, many tips. We've developed many leads, and we have worked them through to completion. From an investigative standpoint, there has been work to do, which we have done every time something comes up. When something comes up again, every time we immediately go back and investigate and see if we finally have an answer. And this is one of those cases that's very difficult because there are no answers. There are no witnesses that we know of that we've been able to identify despite working through many, many different scenarios, leads, possible persons of interest. We just keep coming up without any further information. So this case, like some of these that we see, even in our own agency in the past, we have to be patient sometimes. And it's difficult because it's terrible for family, it's terrible for friends, but at the same time, there is a point where there's nothing more to force, and we have to settle back and look again and go back and review the case and see if there's something we've missed, see if there's someone we can re-explore or re-interview. And we're definitely in that phase at this point. Obviously, any new information that appears will lead to immediate investigation and an attempt to resolve it. But again, for right now, we are kind of stuck and waiting for that next bit of information, that next bit of evidence, that next anything that leads us down a road we can use to go forward.
Well, these are obviously difficult, often frustrating, investigating missing person reports, and I know that you have ones that go back even further.
We do. Discussing this earlier, we looked back to the 2005 case with Cynthia Marl, who is another missing, who's been missing for a little bit more than 13 years. 13 years and a couple of weeks today. And it's one where there was a lot more evidence. There was some physical evidence. There were a lot of things, but realistically, we never found Cynthia. We're not certain as to what's happened to her in total, and we have long since run out of information or leads. Occasionally still we'll get some little snippet of information that can lead us down a path. Unfortunately, in that case, we have two potential suspects who both died, and so that narrows that one even further. The contrast to Jessie's case, where we have worked through our potential suspect pool and worked through our person of interest pool, some of them several times as they've come back up. We don't even have that right now. And hopefully someday very soon we'll get some information that will lead us to a path. But right now we're just stuck.
Thanks to Captain Reinfeld for that update. By the way, a fundraiser has been slated for April 22nd at the Wenatchee Eagles to help increase the reward for information on Jessie's whereabouts. Various local businesses have donated items for a silent auction along with a chili dog feed. Police Department, by the way, welcomes any new tips or leads on either of those two missing person cases. Contact Rivercom if you have any information about their whereabouts. That phone number, 663-9911. Well, the April 24th election ballots are being mailed out today for voters in north central Washington. Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore says he anticipates a good turnout given the issues to be decided.
And the lion's share of those ballots, over 24,000, will be for the Wenatchee School District's bond measure that they're putting to the voters.
Okay, expecting a pretty good turnout for this one?
I'm with the Wenatchee School Bond being on there, and I think it'll be the folks will want to participate, and it's an important issue. I'm anticipating around 60% for this special election.
Very good. Now, in order to pass a bond, you have to have the 60% supermajority. Now, what's the validation requirement?
Validation requirement. I don't have the number off the top of my head. The way that works is we take the number of voters who participated in the last general election and come up with a number of 40%. So whatever 40% was in the last general election for the voters that would be registered in the Wenatchee School District is their validation number.
Meanwhile, in Douglas County, the only measure on the ballot is an M&O levy in the Brewster School District. Grant County voters will decide levies in the Moses Lake and Wilson Creek school districts and a proposed sales tax increase to pay for transportation improvements for the city of Ephrata. Also, ballots are arriving over the next few days to voters in the Wenatchee School District, as Skip mentioned. They're being asked to approve a $120 million construction bond to upgrade and renovate Wenatchee High School. We've been covering that story over the last couple of weeks, and NCW Life's Dan Kuntz has more.
In addition to adding more and larger classrooms to alleviate overcrowding and replacing athletic facilities that officials deem inadequate, the areas of the campus that the general public doesn't normally see, the kitchen and the HVAC system, are both too small and too old. Lance Coleman told me on a recent visit to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley that keeping the HVAC system running on a daily basis is a continuing challenge.
It's way past its life expectancy. The district has definitely got their money out of that equipment. We are now to the point of because we can't get parts of this equipment, we have to manufacture our own parts and rebuild parts that are there, and it gets pretty complicated sometimes just to keep that equipment up and running. And we've put some new compressors in old pieces of equipment just to get them through, and that gets expensive too in the end. It's time to replace that equipment and upgrade it.
Chris Lugkin is the Director of Nutrition Services for the high school, and he told me that buying food locally is one thing, preparing the meals in a small and aging kitchen is another.
We're fortunate to have our high school kitchen manager as an executive chef. She's got a lot of creativeness and ideas for menus, but with the equipment we have, we just aren't capable of providing that at this time. And we're supporting the farmers, and we want to do as much scratch cooking. We don't want to cook out of boxes. We want to cook with fresh food, but we're limited on the space and the equipment that we have at this time.
The Chelan County Auditor's Office will mail the ballots out on Friday. A 60% majority with a 40% turnout is required for passage on April 24th. For NCW Life News, I'm Dan Kuntz.
Another election-related news this morning. Voters in Chelan will decide the fate of a maintenance and operations levy for Chelan County Fire District 7. Supporters say the funding is essential to maintaining an adequate number of firefighters as well as faster response times and replacing or repairing outdated equipment. Proposition 1 would establish a new tax rate of $1.32 or an increase of 40 cents per $1,000 of property valuation. There's more money added to Chelan County's road maintenance budget thanks to passage of the federal omnibus spending bill. It contains over $700,000 in so-called Secure Rural Schools Act funding after Congress reauthorized the source of revenue. Commissioners say it came as a welcome surprise, and they credit our Northwest congressional delegation for making it happen.
It's been something that I know that Kathy McMorris-Rogers has been working on and championing, and it was actually supported by, I believe, all of our Washington delegation back there in Washington, D.C. And what that does is that actually provides that funding for the county and the schools in the county. For us, it's county road funding in the amount of about $700,000 that will come into our county road account on the annual basis. Before, when that was not funded, that funding actually drops to about $140,000, and so it's quite an enormous amount of dollars that we get in from the federal government, and that's basically because of the amount of land that is owned by the federal government in Chelan County. About 80% or so, and so those are dollars that they pay, to the county. To offset, both school and roadways and things like that. In lieu of property taxes, right. Exactly.
I think we need to continue to make everyone aware that the Secure Rural Schools came as a result of not having timber tax dollars. And in the day when there was timber harvest, there was a federal timber tax that was paid that funded those rural schools. It provided with the rural counties with the very dollars to do what we are doing now, and that's maintaining access to the public lands. But if we ever get to a point where we can generate some revenue, I really believe it would be a win-win. I mean, right now the federal government is always scrambling around trying to find the money to make the counties whole. And yet, if we had timber harvest, if we had, a productive timber industry, it would be a benefit to the forest. We'd have a healthier forest. We'd actually be generating revenue for the federal coffers, and then those tax dollars could be, used to pay for the obligations that the government has.
And again, the commissioners, as they mentioned, the SRS, or Secure Rural Schools Act program, provides assistance to rural counties and school districts as well. They're affected by the decline in revenue from timber harvests on federal lands. Also, Wenatchee Valley College hosting their open house tomorrow from 11 to 3. There's mini lectures, alumni events, also tours, workshops, and a lot more. Megan McPherson has the story for NCW Life News.
Hey, we're here with Rachel Evie, the Alumni Relations Coordinator for the Wenatchee Valley College. Rachel, what's going on this weekend?
This weekend, we're hosting the Wenatchee Valley College Open House from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a chance for the community to come out and see what the campus has to offer, a chance for alumni to get back to campus and see what things have changed and join us for a free barbecue, and a chance for students and their parents to learn what it's like going to college here.
And what are some of the activities that are going on?
Well, right now we're standing in our Allied Health Simulation Lab, and this lab is one of 3 different medical labs that will be open for tours that day. We'll be having tours of our ag department, and they'll also be doing their plant cell, so if you need to start your spring garden, then they'll have some plants available for you. Our auto tech department will be open, the MAC will be open, featuring an alumna in the MAC gallery, and our newest building, the rec center, will also be open for tours. That way the community can see the newest thing that's on campus here.
And is this a family-friendly event?
It is a family-friendly event. It's free and open to the public. You don't even have to worry about parking. So we'll be having college prep workshops. If it's shiny, then we'll be having inflatables around the fountain. We'll be here rain or shine. Most of our activities will be indoors. One of them includes the mini lecture series that will be in the Grove Recital Hall on topics like the opioid crisis and sea farming, Chicano studies. So a lot of different activities friendly for all ages.
Great. And what time does it open on Saturday?
It will open at 11 a.m. with a welcome by President Richardson, and then we'll be concluding the open house at 3 p.m.
All right. And where can people go to find more information about this event?
They can go to our website at wvc.edu/open house. There's a full schedule of events there showing all the different activities and fun things going on.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Megan McPherson, NCW Life News.
Great report. Thanks a lot, Megan. Hey, a moderate earthquake registering 5.3 on the seismometer was recorded yesterday in Southern California, my old hometown, as a matter of fact. It was centered just outside of the Channel Islands off the coast of Southern California in Ventura County. National Park officials reported no damage or injuries, but it did ruffle a few feathers, Dan.
Oh, what is this? What are we looking at, Steve?
Well, we're looking at actually a webcam video. As you can see, the earthquake hits, the bald eagle takes off, and this was taken down the Channel Islands.
Okay.
Actually, probably Anacapa Island, which is right off the coast of Ventura. And as you can see here, the earthquake strikes, but Mom returns to the nest.
Don't animals have that sixth sense that they can sense an earthquake is coming?
I think it kind of surprised her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you hear about that, and I know it's true, because as we mentioned before, during the big Nisqually earthquake in 2000, February 2000, my cockatiel went nuts for like 30 seconds before the quake hit. I was sitting at home, and it acted in a way that it had never acted before. It was making strange noises and was freaking out, and I was going, what's wrong with my bird? And then the earthquake hit.
Interesting. So, no, I don't know, but that's very possible, I suppose.
Hard to say. 25 minutes after the hour, it is overcast and 42 degrees. We're going to have intermittent rain off and on today. No big rainfall until we get to overnight tonight. Midnight to about 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's going to come down in buckets. Start building your ark now. Don't say we didn't warn you. We'll have more weather when we do the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Once again, Grant Olson filling in for the recovering Grant Olson. He'll be back. Did I say that correctly? Eric Granstrom filling in for Grant Olson.
I think you got that right.
I said it wrong. It's
I
Friday.
heard it wrong then.
It's Friday. Eric Granstrom's filling in for Grant Olson, who the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock right here on the NCB Live channel.
Or whenever you want to watch it. Yeah.
Watch it on demand, late in the afternoon, early evening, whatever it takes. Steve, bail me out. Do that stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks. Since we're getting this storm coming this weekend, if anything should happen, news-wise, breaking news or anything like that, hey, let us know about it. We have a hotline. You can contact us at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Also, you can contact us by email at our address, news@ncwlife.com. Talk to us on Facebook or Twitter. And, of course, you can always contact us by our web page. Just go to the top of the page there and just click Contact Us and let us know what's on your mind.
So if anything big develops over the weekend, as you just mentioned, who's on call this weekend from the news team?
We're all on call.
Well, I'm golfing.
Well,
if anything happens Sunday morning, I'm not leaving the golf course.
Off then,
yeah, well, you do anyway. That's a major faux pas.
I'll ping you.
Yeah. No, on the golf course, phones are off.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
No, I used to play with
catch you on the backswing.
I used to play with a group of guys, and if your cell phone rang during your golf round, it was a $5 fine to whoever else was in your group. They took it seriously.
Oh.
Yeah. The phones go off. Period. I don't even put it on mute. I turn it off.
Well, then we'll have to find somebody else to take the breaking news.
Our top story today, Dan will not be available Sunday morning for on-call duty. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and Arch Ecker, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, will be in this studio for his first ever appearance.
Happy Friday.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's all coming up on the NCB Live channel.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
The NCW Live channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Live channel is your local TV station.
"28 minutes after the hour on this Friday. Let's move forward. The Wenatchee Wild look to wrap up the Interior Division Final Series. Trail is in town at the Town Toyota Center. Wenatchee leading, of course, the best-of-7 series, 3-1. They fell at Trail Wednesday night, 5-2. That loss, of course, snapped the Wild's 7-game postseason winning streak. Puck will drop at 7:05. There were big crowds up in Trail this week, so let's turn the tables, have a big crowd tonight. Arch tells me tickets are going really, really fast. Now, if Trail wins tonight, the series would move back to British Columbia for Game 6. That would be tomorrow at 7. A Game 7, if necessary, would be back here in the big city Monday at 7:05. Go Wild. We'll preview the series with our checker here in just a few minutes. Area baseball teams wrap up spring break on the Diamonds today and tomorrow. Here's the weekend prep schedule. Cascade hosts Blaine and Meridian in a doubleheader today in Peshastin that begins at noon. Blaine then travels to Chelan for a single afternoon game with the Goats at 4:30. Eastmont will be hosting Moses Lake. Big 9 doubleheader. Dan White Field. Game 1 is at 3 o'clock. Game 2 around 5 o'clock, and we will have that game here on the NCW Live channel. On Saturday, Chelan plays 2 at Connell, and Waterville Mansfield will host Tenasket for a twin bill beginning at 11 a.m. Girls fast pitch softball today. Cascade hosts Mount Baker in a doubleheader. That's a 1 o'clock first pitch. Saturday, Chelan travels to Connell for 2. Cashmere will host 2 with Clay Elm at 11 a.m. Couple of games on the pitch today. Soccer. Chelan will host Warden this morning at 11. Eastmont travels to Eisenhower for a night game with the Cadets. That starts at 7, and there will not be a hotel room available in the greater area. It is the Triple Crown Wenatchee season opener in youth baseball. 137 teams from throughout the Pacific Northwest will be spread through 12 baseball fields and complexes in the Wenatchee Valley tomorrow and Sunday. Hopefully the weather cooperates, especially tomorrow. That's about 1,600 kids hoping to play baseball here this weekend in 9U through 14U action. This has got all over the internet. I don't know if you saw this or not. A very funny thing happened at the park yesterday to the Mariners starting pitcher James Paxton. As the Twins were getting ready for opening day, they had a tradition with the bald eagle that was supposed to fly to the pitcher's mound. Well, it didn't. Here's what happened.
Well, we saw something we'd never even considered seeing in our lifetimes. Starting pitcher minding his own business in an American Eagle. What happened to you today? Well, an American Eagle landed on my shoulder, and I was getting ready to pitch a game. Whoa, that's scary, though. And James handled it a lot better than I would have. And I think, Mike, you would say the same thing.
Absolutely. I would have been on the ground.
I'd have found a gear I didn't know I had getting away from that sucker. Let me tell you, Mariners, Twins, first pitch coming up next.
Of course, the irony in all that is James Paxton is a Canadian. We won't get into that. Seattle things got off to a good start, but it didn't end that way for the Mariners. Here's what happened. Seattle could not make up their early lead hold. Minnesota came back for the 4-2 win. Paxton looked good. He went 5 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts. M's have the day off today. They resume their series with the Twins Saturday. It's a morning game, our time, 11:15. Mike Leake will start against Jose Berrios. Today is day 2 of the Masters. You must say that with the right amount of gravity and gravitas. The Masters, Jordan Spieth. He shot a 666 for a 2-shot lead in yesterday's first round. He was good. Tiger Woods shot a 1 over 73. And in case you missed it, Sergio Garcia had a really bad 15th hole. He put 5 balls in the water. He tin-cupped it. He ended up with a 13 on the 15th. I feel sorry for the defending champion, Sergio Garcia. 32 minutes after the hour, it's time for the obscure holiday of the day today. I celebrate this day every work day. Today is National Walk to Work Day. It is always the first Friday in April. If you can walk to work, we encourage you to walk to work. If you can't walk to work, take a walk sometime during the day today, maybe during the lunch hour. Just a nice, brisk 30-minute walk does wonders. It cuts down, it lowers your weight, it lowers your blood pressure, less risk of diabetes, less risk of heart disease. Just 30 minutes a day. All it takes, 30 minutes a day, will do remarkable things to your health. And of course, walking is free. That's good. If you have a chance to walk to work today, do so. I walk to work every day. It isn't 30 minutes. It's about 45 seconds. 32 minutes after the hour today in history. I had a lot to choose from today, and I couldn't make up my mind, so I decided to do them all. 122 years ago today, April 6th, 1896, the Olympics returned. After a 1,500-year absence, the very first modern Olympics were held, where the ancient Olympics were held in Athens, Greece. The 1896 Olympics went off almost without a hitch, and this was the most important thing. It was supposed to be just a one-off deal, but it went so well that the Olympic Games, the modern Olympic Games, return has been with us ever since, with the exception, of course, of World War I and World War II. Very first Olympic gold medalist in modern Olympic history, an American, James Connolly of Boston, who won the triple jump. The Olympics returned on this date 122 years ago. 109 years ago, April 6, 1909, Robert Peary and Matthew Henson reached the North Pole, supposedly. They told everybody they did. Basically, a bunch of experts have since gotten together and they've looked at Robert Peary's records, and they have concluded that he probably didn't actually make it to the North Pole. They said they got close, 50, 60 miles. But most experts now agree that they probably didn't actually reach the pole, but history still says they do. Nobody can actually prove otherwise on this date 109 years ago. 101 years ago, April 6, 1917, we went to war. The United States Congress declared war on Germany. Remember, the president can't declare war. Only the Congress can declare war, and they did so on this date 101 years ago. America was all in on World War I, and in case you missed it, we won. 45 years ago, April 6, 1973, the American League of Major League Baseball begins using the designated hitter. The gentleman right there that you see, Ron Blomberg of the New York Yankees, became the first DH in baseball history. The designated hitter is now across all platforms of baseball with the exception of the National League. I'm not a big fan of the designated hitter. I'm on record on that, but it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And it happened on this date 45 years ago today. And happy birthday to the Seattle Mariners. What you see is the very first pitch in Seattle Mariner history. His name was Diego Segui. He was 38 years old, beginning his 20th year in Major League Baseball. He was also a member of the Seattle Pilots back in 1969. 57,762 fans packed the Kingdome to watch the Mariners play their first ever game. They lost to the California Angels, by the way, 7-0. Two ironic parts about this very historic day. That is the first pitch, by the way. 57,762 crammed into the Kingdome. The Kingdome was a necessity for Seattle to get a major league team. No rainouts. You're guaranteed to play right. On April 6, 1977, the weather in Seattle, 78 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. And they had to go play indoors. The next night, in front of a rainy, cloudy night indoors, they lost again, 2-0. Attendance for Game 2 of the Mariners' second ever game, 10,144. 35 minutes after the hour, one birthday to get to the legend, Merle Haggard. Oh, I love Merle. I miss Merle. 38 #1 hits on the Billboard country charts. A bunch of awards. Played here at the Town Toyota Center. Had a terrible, nasty, awful childhood. Turned his life around and became one of the icons of country music. He died on his 79th birthday, April 6, 2016, at his ranch in California. The legendary Merle Haggard was born on this date in 1937. 36 minutes after the hour, everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. He's got a good one for you today. And then our checker talking wild hockey. It's all coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 42 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel. Your home for the 2018 Washington State Apple Blossom Festival is the NCW Life Channel. Be sure to watch the Kais Fiber Youth Parade Saturday, April 28th, the Les Schwab Classy Chassis Parade on Friday, May 4th, and the Stem Growers Grand Parade Saturday, May 5th, right here. Brought to you by Auville Fruit, home of the Gee Whiz brand, where passion meets flavor. And by Bay Equity Home Loans, your home for loans.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your stoke?
So if the bond were to pass, some of the great enhancements we can do at Wenatchee High School for instructional technology are the ability to control those technologies we talked about in the classroom. The teacher has control of the audio and the video, and these aren't luxuries anymore in a 21st century classroom. These are things that are needed for teaching and learning differently.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. Tour de Blues is happening Saturday, April 7 and Sunday, April 8 at Mission Ridge. Come ski and ride all the blue runs on the mountain to register for great prizes. Wenatchee Valley College is hosting their open house Saturday, April 7 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Programs and academic departments will be spotlighted through interactive exhibits, demonstrations, lectures, and tours. For more information, visit ncwlife.com.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, the Clinton weapons ban, which began for 10 years running between September 13th, 1994, only applied to weapons manufactured after the date of the ban's enactment, and it expired on September 13, 2004. The acts also included a grandfather clause that allowed for the possession and transfer of weapons and ammunition that were lawfully purchased on the date of enactment. Now I mention this because many folks feel that school shootings will be reduced or deterred by a reenactment of this type of weapons ban. Did a ban like this actually have any effect on deterring school shootings that we've experienced? Well, now it depends on what you read. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Papa Murphy's presents a fresh take on fresh. Here's the deal. If it comes from a freezer, not fresh. Box, not fresh. Bag, not fresh. Fresh means just chopped vegetables. Cheese grated by us daily. Fresh means we don't even have ovens, because you have an oven. So you can feel good about feeding it to your home bake an XL NY pizza, topped with giant pepperoni and ground sausage on an extra large foldable New York style crust. Just $8.99. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
It's a free walk-in job search assistance center. It is designed to help job seekers with the tools that they need to find a job. We have partnered with libraries in 5 other cities, providing the same types of services that we offer here, just there.
Just walk in, we have laptops, and we can help you with resume, cover letter.
All of our services are paid for by the revenues earned in our store. Goodwill is just a tool that the community is using to help their neighbors find a job. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
For plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
Is your inefficient home comfort system wasting money? This Lennox dealer can help.
Save money on your energy bills with an efficient Lennox system from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Get up to $1,700 in rebates or special financing.
Thursday night, hockey night on the NCW Life Channel. It all begins at 7 o'clock with a call of the Wild and Clarkie's Corner. Then it's non-stop hockey action with a voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker. Join us as the Wild battle the rest of the BCHL. Thursday night is hockey night on the NCW Life Channel.
Somewhere down there was the Wenatchee Valley, trust me. It is 42 minutes after the hour, just about 43 minutes after the hour. It is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. It's Friday, the place to be tonight, bar none, Town Toyota Center. Let's pack this joint. Let's lock it up. Let's move on to the finals to talk about Wenatchee Wild hockey and whatever else pops into our addled brains on this Friday. Arch Ecker making your 3rd appearance on this show?
Yeah, this week.
Or 30th, something like that. I think you passed the 30 appearance mark not long ago.
Yeah, no, I thought that there was a set of steak knives that came with that, but maybe they're on back order.
I made 2 major faux pas. I was going to do a big thing for you for your 30th visit, and something happened. And also, Kat, our producer, she
something
celebrated.
Suddenly came
I just
up.
forgot about it.
Pull that right out of the Brady Bunch. Something suddenly came up.
And then I was going to celebrate Kat's first anniversary of producing this show. And I had the date. It was March 17th, and I had the date mixed up.
Well, that was a Saturday.
Yeah, it was a Saturday, but I was going to celebrate something like the day before that, and I missed it.
Well, you probably celebrated St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. I vaguely remember the 17th of March.
Cervezas Verdes.
What I really remember is Game 3 up there in Trail, and one of the most incredible third periods of hockey you will ever see. I listened to you call the game on Sunny FM, and I didn't get a chance to see the highlights until the next day. But if you did not see this, and we aired this early, Game 3 was Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night in Trail.
This is the Tuesday night highlight package from the Game 3 in Trail. Check this out.
And fires it up ahead. Blaine Caton gets it on the backhand, cuts over to his left. It's to McLean. He's in, he shoots, and he scores. Spencer McLean with his shot, and they're out through center. Vanderbeck on the right side. Over on the left wing for Souter. Back in front, tip and a score. Boy, a nice redirection by A.J. Vanderbeek as he fired it over to Souter. Souter threw it right back across and driving to the net on the right wing. A.J. Vanderbeek, and he puts the redirection on it. Beats Marcoux on the glove side. There, he sets up as the Wild regroup in the neutral zone. Saucer feed, here's Weatherby. He's in, he shoots, and he scores! Jasper Weatherby. Off the nice feed, the transition out of the neutral zone, moved ahead for Souter. He put it into the skating lane for Weatherby. He came down the left side, rips it up high, right under the bar. And at 10-12, the Wild have their first lead of the night. Works his way up the near ball and cycles it down low. In front, shot, loose puck is kicked across and not cleared. Held in by Barton. Shot tipped on the way through. Broken up and flipped past. And Gontus gets it across. Shot! Oh, no. How did that not go in? Puck loose in front. Shot again. Still loose. And the Wild come up with a can't clear. Another offering. Fired into the corner. I think somebody saran wrapped the net when we weren't looking. And then picked up, and McLean moves it back across for Caton. Over on the right side. Twisted in front, right through the crease, and wide into the near corner. Back up top for Martini. His shot tipped in front and swept wide into the corner once again. Baseman advances into the left side. Empty net down at the other end. Drop pass Barton. He shoots and it gets knocked away. Back to Welsh. He smacks at it. Comes bouncing down in the opposite corner and then chiseled up the wall. Held in, fired wide of the net again. And a lunging Vanderbeek tries to clear the zone and can't quite get it out. Moved across over to the right side. Big shot blasted wide. Barton's going to pick it up. 4 seconds left. Long shot. Steered away by Park into the corner. And that's it. Boy, the Wenatchee Wild hold off a furious push from the Trail Smoke Eaters, who threw everything but the kitchen sink at them tonight. The Wild win streak moves now to 7 games. And there was at least 4 opportunities that I have no idea how the puck never hit the back of the net.
Wow, that last 8-9 minutes of hockey in the third period on Tuesday night was just insane.
Yeah, they were coming hard. There was no doubt about it. And you could see notably the effort of the guys in the black sweaters in those clips. I mean, our guys were digging in hard, and and as fast as Trail was coming at us, our guys were stepping in front of shots and blocking shots and throwing checks, and just they were. When you talk about buying in and being all in, our guys were there. Yeah, it paid off with the win.
And some incredible goalkeeping as well.
Yeah, that's true as well. Like I said, I mean, we were all, even the coaches afterwards were scratching their head, going, I don't know how they didn't go in. But it was pretty impressive.
Trail is a team of great pride, and they weren't about ready to be swept, even though these two teams know each other very well. So they went ahead and took Game 4 fairly easily, fairly dominating to stop Wenatchee's 7-game playoff winning streak. So now we're at 3-1 with Game 5 tonight at the Town Toyota Center. This will be the 11th time these two teams have now played each other this year. Is that about right, between the regular season and playoffs?
6 in the regular season, and
yeah. So
we played them in the that was the first preseason games were against Trail.
Is there anything new that either team doesn't know about each other, or these teams know each other on a first-name basis at this point?
They definitely know each other. They know who they like and who they don't like, and I don't think anybody likes anybody right now. But, but yeah, no, it's a good matchup between two really good teams. I mean, Trail may have been the number 4 seed, but they took out Penticton, took them 7 games, and they got it done. I mean, they're a team that, had it not been for a couple of different issues during the middle of the season, where they had some players that were gone, a couple were competing in the Western Canada, whatever the World Junior Challenge, those kind of things. I mean, their record might have been a little bit different, and maybe they would have been a little closer to pushing us for 3rd. So, I mean, they're a high caliber, very talented hockey team. So, the fact that we're able to be up 3-1 on them, I think, at the beginning of the series, if somebody says, hey, okay, we're going to give you the opportunity to be up 3-1 and have a chance to win Game 5 at home, will you take it? And I'm like, heck yeah, we'll take it. That's a good spot to be in.
Good
I mean,
spot.
we're glad home ice advantage is huge for us.
Oh, it's the best it's the best home ice advantage in the BCHL, and it's not just me just saying it. It's the numbers bear it out. It's true.
Numerically, it's absolutely true.
Yeah. Is there anything? First of all, how's the health of the team? Because we're pretty deep in the playoffs now. How are we doing? Anybody? There's always bangs up and bruises and nicks and scratches and stuff. But any significant injuries we need to be worried about?
Matt Dorsey's been out for a little bit. He's the local Wenatchee kid. He's still kind of day to day. We're just waiting to see how his progress comes along. But other than that, it's just a collection of bumps and bruises. There's some guys that are, they're shaking up, and there's some of them are wearing the ice bags and whatnot. But I'll guarantee you 100% that everybody in the other locker room's in the exact same boat. So, yeah, there's and that's a real blessing to be at this point of the year, and to have have our health where it is. I mean, it's been pretty good.
You told me before we came on the air the Coastal Division champion has now been decided, and that is
the Prince George Spruce Kings. Yeah, they won it last night. I joked that series should have been sponsored by the Travel Channel, because Prince George is way up there in the central northern part of BC, and Powell River. So there's, the old saying, you can't get there from here.
Right.
That's kind of almost the way it is for Powell River, because you look at it on a map and you think you should just be able to go from Prince George over to Powell River, but you can't. They have to come all the way down, go across, take the ferry, and then come back up and then take the other ferry. So it's a long haul for both of those teams, and they were able to get that series out of the way in 5 games. It took them overtime to do it. They went I think they went double overtime in one of the games in that series. But last night they needed overtime again. Powell River had forced. Well, they took the lead. They were up 1-0, scoreless through 2, and then there was just a couple minutes left, and Prince George pulled the goalie, got the extra skater out, tied the game, and then their captain ended up winning it like 8 minutes into overtime. So they win the series 4-1, and Prince George now sits, and they await the winner of our series to figure out who they're going to face next. And I think if you're in Prince George's camp, they're sitting there kind of rooting. Well, first of all, they're rooting for 2 things. One, they want this series to go 7 games.
Exactly.
They don't care who,
Yeah.
But beyond that, they're kind of hoping the Trail would win, because in that case, Prince George would have home ice advantage, and they would have to start the series up there. But the Wild would have home ice advantage should we advance. So then Prince George would have to come here, and next weekend would be the first 2 games of the Fred Page Cup Finals here in Wenatchee if the Wild advance.
And let's talk about that. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves a little bit, but if the Wild win, it's off to the Fred Page Cup Finals for the first time in franchise history. We know who they're going to play if they get there. But if they win the Fred Page Cup, there's still more hockey to be played. Walk people through the next scenarios.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from, for the first 7 years that the Wild were in the North American League, the ultimate prize was the Robertson Cup. And you try to win your division, you go through the playoffs, you come to the Robertson Cup, you get the hardware, and then, you pose for photographs and you go home. Because we're in the BCHL, which is part of the larger conglomerate of 10 CJHL hockey leagues. So there's 10 leagues within this giant Canadian umbrella.
132 teams total?
132 teams. So, you got your BCHL, Alberta has their own league, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, they've got their own leagues. And as you move east, there's like an Ontario Junior League and a Northern Ontario, Superior International. There's a whole bunch of them. So then they break those down into 4 separate areas. The BCHL in Alberta, we're what's called the Pacific Zone. And then you got Manitoba and Saskatchewan, that's the Western Zone. So then you're going to have these 4 zones that would play down to 4 champions of, they don't really have them. Ours is called the Doyle Cup. So we're going to play, what would happen, just to narrow it down, the BCHL champion plays the AJHL champion from Alberta. And it's a best-of-7 series. And the way they have it set up is the first 2 games are played at the BCHL team's home ice, whoever it happens to be. Mm-hmm. And then, but what the wrinkle on it is if one team wins both of the first 2 games, then the series moves to the Alberta team's rink and stays there the rest of the way. because the travel's so far between.
It's a
like
long
you're only
trip.
going to shift once.
Yeah.
But then if you split, if the first 2 games are split, then game 3 is played at the BCHL rink, because then it's, you know, they want it to be as even as possible. But if one team wins 2, then they're like, well, then we're going to move it over.
There's not going to be a test, is there? I wasn't writing any of this down.
Yeah, I'm surprised I can even remember it. But yeah, well, last year was called. They had something called the Western Canada Cup, and it was hosted in Penticton last year. And what they did was the 4 most Western leagues, they each sent a representative. Their league champions all went, and then in our case, because one of our teams hosted, the runner-up went. So Penticton and Chilliwack both went last year, along with the other 3 neighboring champions, and they played through a process. Once you get that, then you go to the final of the national finals, which is called the Royal Bank Cup, and that is this year hosted in Chilliwack.
And that's
so
a round robin with all the champions.
Yeah,
that
with those 4 champions from those 4 zones. You know, like for example, there's we got the Doyle Cup, and then the next one over, I think they call it the Anavet Cup, which is something to do with the veterans in Canada. And then there's a couple others. But like I said, so then you get 5 teams all in there at Chilliwack, and you play a round robin tournament fashion, and off you go. And then you can finally exhale. Because that would be, if it plays all the way through, it'd be mid-May somewhere.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a long haul, there's no doubt. The Doyle Cup is scheduled, if we end up with it, it's like the last week of April.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's coming. But, I mean, the first things first, man,
we got to beat Trail.
I mean, tonight, because you know what, Trail, first of all, they're not going anywhere.
No.
And, you know, they're in it to win it. We've already seen this year, in the first round, the Alberni Valley Bulldogs had a 3-0 lead over Victoria. And Victoria came back and won 4 straight to advance. So, you know, 3-0, 3-1, hey, it doesn't matter. You got to show up and play, because there's a lot of pride in those locker rooms, and those guys are going to battle, and they've got the skill to put the hurt on you if you're not prepared. However, knowing this club and the composition of the character of the players and the tireless work ethic of our coaching staff, our guys are going to be ready tonight.
Yeah.
They will be ready. And I'll tell you what, we've got the playoff T-shirts that say "Defend the Den." It's not just a saying. These guys take a lot of pride in it. The fact that we can step into that building, and other teams, when they come in, their jaw drops a little bit. Even when they've been here, they know they're like, ugh. Like, man, that's a tough barn to go into. Yeah, it is.
And advanced ticket sales are smoking hot right now. I wouldn't wait and just walk up and buy a ticket tonight at 6:30 because get them in advance, because the numbers are huge for a big crowd tonight.
It will be a huge crowd tonight. In fact, well, by yesterday I had heard some numbers that we couldn't even start selling tickets until yesterday morning because we didn't know.
Right.
We were playing Wednesday. If we'd have won Wednesday night in Trail, then we'd have been sitting at home waiting for next Friday to start the series against Prince George. But because Trail won, so it forced a Game 5. So yesterday morning was like, okay, well, I guess we got to sell tickets for tomorrow night. And I mean, we're well over half capacity by yesterday afternoon. I mean, in just a matter of hours. So I think it's going to be a good crowd, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Great energy.
$10 for a ticket. You can sit anywhere in the bowl for $10 a pop. If you get together with a bunch of friends and family in a group package, it's only $8 a seat. And if you're a student and you got your student ID, whatever it may be, it's spring break, it's only $7 a pop.
Yep. That's, you can't beat that. And I mean, it's a clinching scenario tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's no guarantees. It's a game, but this is a game where you could see the Wild advance into the next round. And those games are always the pinnacle of any sporting event or whatever. But it doesn't matter the sport or the level. When you get to a clinching scenario, it's all on the table, so it should be fun.
And Arch has said this before, when they take to the ice and that place is rocking and rolling, it's worth a half a goal a game, because the guys just love to play in that kind of electric rock and roll kind of atmosphere. The guy,
you can feel it. You know?
You do. There's a vibe when you get to playoff hockey and you're at home and you got a big crowd and everybody's having a good time. Let's lock it up tonight, all right?
I'm all for that. Let's get her
do it.
done.
They dropped the puck at 7:05 at the Town Toyota Center. Arch, it's always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Call 888-7825. Get your tickets now.
Absolutely. We'll see you Monday. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.